Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Divine Barrel Brewing Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. This beer is called Sunshine Felt Like Rain. It just says Pale Ale with Citra, Mosaic, and Belma hops. And it is 6.0 ABV. I'm guessing that it's going to be classic style since it doesn't say New England or hazy or anything. But it also doesn't say West Coast either. So, it's always confusing nowadays. Well, I was wrong. It's funny how breweries used to say New England or hazy or whatever, which I don't necessarily like either one of those descriptions either, but and then if it didn't say that, then it meant it was, filtered and clean. But now it's almost the opposite, where if it doesn't say West Coast, which is kind of silly because there's a ton of classic, really good filtered IPAs and hoppy beers, not from the West Coast, like Two Hearted and Headhunter and those, and White Raja. Then it's assumed that it's hazy, so it's kind of weird. But anyways, you can see this pours a really light yellow color. It's like very milky with a small white head. So I will say these guys make very good West Coast IPAs. If you've seen any of my other reviews of theirs, the New England IPAs they make are kind of hit or miss. I mean, they're never bad, but they're just not nearly as good as the West Coast stuff that they do for whatever reason. But this smells really nice. It actually smells like there's Sabro in this because I'm getting some sort of coconut, which is interesting. It's like coconut, pineapple. There's definitely some of like that slight woody like weed character that has a bunch of stems and stuff in it. But I do get some like mango as well. It smells really nice. It's interesting. The flavor is definitely different than the aroma. And I'm not going to say it's not as good, but it's definitely different hop features. I get a lot of lemon lime, and I'm not sure. I mean, it's definitely not something that normally comes with Mosaic or Citra. It could be something from the Belma. I'm not super familiar with Belma hops, but there is a lot of lemon lime. I do get a little bit of that woody dankness, and a little bit of that coconut character that I said was reminding me of Sabro, but the only my disappointment with this, and I will say I was kind of expecting it to be this way too when I saw the color of this. I mean, this thing, if this was not cloudy, I mean, this would look like a Pilsner. Or I don't even know if it would look like a Pilsner. It might look like a Belgian wit. And look how light this thing is. This has basically this got to be 2-row and nothing else, or Pilsner malt at best. There's no way there's any caramel malt in this. Which I don't want a lot of caramel malt in an IPA because that's more traditional, but I like a little bit at least. Because that's the negative thing when you don't use any of those at all, is you get something that almost tastes like hop water. Excuse me, where there's no bready or crackery character. It's just hops and alcohol and water, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and some people might like that more. I don't prefer it, but again, it's not going to keep me from drinking it. Like, overall, the flavor is pretty good, but I just wish it had a little bit of some sort of malt flavor in the background. It's literally like hops and then like nothing. Um, but again, that could have been what they were going for because some people like that. Uh, I will say it's pretty drinkable. There's a little bit of hop burn on the back end, but it's pretty minor. And I feel like that's the other reason why I want that malt there, because I feel like if that was there, that hop burn would be non-detectable. But because there's literally nothing to counteract the hops, it's detectable. But it obviously isn't that big because since there's like there's no balance to it. Like this is just hop flavor, bitter, dry. There's no sweetness to this at all. Um, if it was over the top bitter, it would be like unbearable to drink because there's nothing else there to back it up. um, and I know I said some negative stuff about this, but there also is something about it that I like lower alcohol hoppy beers that are still tasty, and this is in that category. Um, anything that's like sub 7%, I'm all about when it comes to hoppy beers. Because of that, on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm gonna give this a buy. I probably would buy it again. I wouldn't say it's like the best. Let's see. Yeah, it's listed as a pale ale. I guess to me, I guess anything that's sub 7 is acceptable to be called a pale ale. Or you get some breweries like Trogs that calls Perpetual an Imperial Pale Ale versus an IPA, which, I mean, what difference is there there? It doesn't even make sense, but uh, that's the other thing with this. I wish they were able to like do something with their water to make it softer, because this is a really good carbonation level and mouthfeel for a West Coast IPA, and I think that's why their West Coast IPAs are really good. And it would even work well for some of like their smaller Belgian like table beer grisette type things. But for this, I don't want to say it doesn't work, but I feel like if they change the water profile a little bit, this would be even better and more drinkable. So that would be my tiny bit of caramel malt in that change, and I think this would be a really, really great pale ale. But even given that, I'm still gonna give this a buy, because overall it's still a really tasty hoppy beer, and one of the better 6 and below ones I've had locally in a little while. So I give them props for that. I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.